an interesting moment in Nintendo's history. A console that is held up as one of gaming's, and Nintendo's in particular, most legendary failures. I've always wondered why that was. You see, I'm one of the few people who owned and frankly loved my Wii U. I played it a lot. I still, to this day, have several games for it. I go back and play it with some regularity, mostly just to dip into The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD. Both games still are the best versions of their respective releases, and they happen to be stuck on the Wii U until Nintendo finally decides to port them over to the Switch, which there's ever rumors that'll happen, but whatever. That's not what interests me today. What interests me today is considering why the Wii U was a failure. So what are the factors that really contributed to the failure of the Wii U? Well, let's get a little background. The Wii U released in North America on November 18th, 2012, according to Google, and it released to the sound of a balloon slowly letting out air. It was not well received right off the bat. People likened it to a Fisher-Price toy, and I can kinda see it. This thing is pretty big and clunky, though I never found it awkward to hold, personally, and I spent a lot of time holding this thing. I still hold it from time to time. I think my affection for it, isn't just because it's the one special edition console I've ever managed to pick up. It's not the only I've tried, it's just the only one I've succeeded. And I do get it. For some people, it would be unwieldy. It is a little bit heavy, but all told, it always worked very well. Even the range on the gamepad was pretty good. And it just spoke to me that maybe people didn't give it a chance. One of the biggest reasons cited for that is the releases. People will say all the time, you talk to them, oh, why didn't you like the Wii U? Oh, the Wii U just didn't have the software. Really neat piece of technology. The software just wasn't there. First off, the Wii U was building off of the success of the Wii. I don't think we can, even in today's day and age, discount the success that the Wii was. The Wii broke through to the casual gaming market in such a way that my mother owns a Wii U. A Wii U. My mother owns a Wii. Well, let's look at that slip that I made right there, because that's also part of the reason it failed. There were people out there who just didn't realize the Wii U was its own console. And this is a mistake my mother, who I said owns a Wii, made as well. People thought it was just a peripheral for the Wii, and they weren't terribly interested in it. My brother bought Wii U games for his Wii, not knowing it was something different. The naming convention did trip people up a little bit. When you look at a console that was in just about every house in America, that was in nursing homes, it was in rec centers, it was in morale centers for the US Army, the market saturation of the Wii was like almost nothing Nintendo had ever experienced before. I'm going to do a quick Google here. I'm going to say Nintendo console sales. Let's see how this works. Sales data, dedicated video game sales units. Okay, let's look at this. I want to look at Nintendo hardware sales. So the Switch 2 to date has sold 19.86 million units. The Switch in its lifetime sold 155.92 million units. The Wii U sold 13.56 million units. Duh. The Nintendo 3DS sold 75.94 million units. Funny, I always thought it was bigger than that. The Wii sold 101.63 million units. Compared that to the Nintendo DS's 154.2 million units. The Game Boy Advance's 85.51, Game Boy with 118.69, GameCube with 21.74, and the Nintendo 64 with 32.93. Pardon me, I have to peek around my camera here. Ooh, the NES sold 61.91. The Super NES sold 49.10. That puts the Wii in the upper echelon, beaten only by the Nintendo DS and the Switch. So when you're building off of that kind of success, you have to feel fairly confident. Nintendo came into the Wii U with some big ideas. The Wii U was their first attempt at a hybrid console. It was trying to build off the popularity of the DS. Again, 75.94 million units. That's significant. It brought a lot of that same functionality, but it also allowed you to have a home console that you could play as a handheld. for the first time. I think this is a case where the technology really didn't exist for Nintendo to do what they really wanted to do. The Wii U was a fancy prototype, and if you look at Nintendo's history, you can see how a lot of that prototyping built into what they eventually did. Their handheld sales were always, I just read the numbers, above their home console sales, so wanting to bridge the home console and handheld market was a smart move for them. They eventually succeeded with the Nintendo Switch. Again, 155.92 million units is insane. The second best-selling game console of all time behind the PS2, and it came close to dethroning them. Even the Switch 2 had a monstrous first year. Nintendo sales tend to be really good. The ideas that were pioneered in the Wii U definitely carried forward to the Switch. The Switch itself was the hybrid handheld and home console that they'd always wanted to make. Switching between a play-on-the-go mode and a docked mode. And docked mode actually ran better, and I never really cared for playing it in handheld because, I have big hands and it was never comfortable to hold. A problem the Switch 2 solved. Which is probably why the Wii U gamepad never bothered me. It's actually pretty comfortable in my opinion, but again... So let's, I guess, digress to that argument that the Wii U just didn't have the software to support it. Let's go take a look. I'm gonna pop over here to trusty old Metacritic, and we're gonna take a quick look at some of the highest rated games on the Wii U. Alright. We have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That doesn't really count. Ooh, Super Mario 3D World. Super Smash Brothers That's Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, right? Let me hover over that. Click on it. Wow. Super Smash Brothers for Nintendo 3DS Wii U. Oh, okay. I thought that was Ultimate. Didn't Ultimate release first on there? I don't know. Alright, Bayonetta 2, Rayman Legends. That was a banger. Wind Waker HD. Deus Ex Human Revolution was on the Wii U. I didn't know that. Oh, Mario Kart 8. Super Mario Maker. Shovel Knight. Mass Effect 3 was there. That's right. Oh, hey, look. There's Twilight Princess HD. Batman Arkham City, Darksiders 2, New Super Mario Brothers U, still scroll. Oh, Monster Hunter 3, that one was big. Monster Hunter 3 would actually play cooperatively between the Wii U and the 3DS. I, in fact, own both versions, even though I didn't really care for it. Lego City Undercover, that was a banger. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Nope, any Shantae games are worth playing. Oh yeah, Resident Evil Revelations. That's actually a Resident Evil game I haven't played. I still mean to. That's been ported to everything. There's Yoshi's Woolly World, Wonderful 101, Minecraft, of course. Minecraft was on everything. Zombie U, yeah, what a game that was. New Super Luigi U, that was a DLC, I think, for New Super Mario Bros. U. Pokken Tournament, forgot how cool that was. Or the original Hyrule Warriors, Paper Mario Color Splash. I think we might be getting into the dregs. Oh yeah, Kirby and the Rainbow Cruise, that one was good. Scribblenauts, always great. Oh yeah, Disney Infinity, I forgot about that. Woo! What a shoot and a miss that was. Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Ninja Gaiden 3, Star Fox Zero. Actually, I keep hearing good things about Star Fox Zero. I think it doesn't earn that 69, although... Nice. Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. Yeah, okay, we're getting down into the dregs here. Watch Dogs. Oh, yeah. Ugh. Who remembers how that went? Ooh, good shot, Ubisoft. Oh, Mighty Number 9. Yeah, that was a famous one. Oh, now we're... Oh, yeah, look how low these are. Woo! But still. Some certified bangers there, and you might have noticed that a lot of the titles that I read out there sounded familiar. That's because the Wii U games that were all really good ended up ported to the Switch, and I'm not going to go look up the Metacritic scores of all of those ports, but most of them performed really well on the Switch. Turns out they were good games to begin with. And the thing was, the software was there. It's just none of you Call of Duty fuckboys actually bought the thing to be able to play any of those games. But you all owned Switches, and so as soon as they came to that, you're like, this is great! Nintendo should have done this from the first place. Well, they did do it from the first place. Ultimately, I think history has vindicated Nintendo. The Switch was a paradigm shift for video gaming. We can still see the ripples that particular stone is sent through the water, rippling away today. It inspired a whole new wave of gaming consoles. Everything from the Steam Deck to the Roger Ally has picked up a lot of the ideas that the Switch made manifest that all started with the Wii U. The Switch itself feels like a thesis statement, I suppose, for everything Nintendo was doing between motion controls and handheld gaming and hybrid gaming. The Wii U was a fantastic console, and honestly still is a fantastic console. It plays Wii games better than the Wii was, and if you happen to own one nowadays and are feeling just slightly piratical, you can in fact hack the console to play everything back to the NES in perfect fidelity. I think the only thing it can't do is 3DS games, unless you have like a specific model. I haven't looked into it. I haven't done it myself. I think I might in the future. But ultimately, I think the Wii U was, as the title of this said, an underrated gem. Nintendo rallied, and it probably is for the best that the Wii U failed. Switch debuted less than 5 years later, I think about 4.5 years later. I closed the tab. Oops. To uproarious praise. I don't think Nintendo would have been so motivated to get the Switch out the door and create this world-changing paradigm shift that they dropped on everyone's head if the Wii U hadn't had failed so horribly. It probably worked out the way it should have. But still, for those of us who loved it, it was a shame to watch Nintendo go through it, and hopefully we all learn from these mistakes, right? I mean, computer hardware and gaming hardware is only getting better in the future, right? At least you can still find discs to play Wii U games on.